They just need to translate the US central bank's text into Chinese. The current regulatory focus isn't really on Circle. They created USDC and have already gone above and beyond what the US government requires. They're like the overachieving student who shoots for a 90 or 100 when the passing grade is only 60. The real target is USDT, or Tether. They're based in the Virgin Islands and have kept everyone in the dark for years, refusing to disclose anything to the US government. However, ever since this new US legislation passed, everything at Tether has changed. They've done a total 180. Before, everyone was hiding from the US. But since Trump pushed Congress to legislate, all these wild players, not just USDT, but various small exchanges and underground issuers, are suddenly lining up to swear fealty to the imperial court. Even Binance is saying, just tell us which limb to chop off and we'll do it. These so-called crypto whales are performing self-exams and aggressive surgeries on themselves. They're thinking, I might have a problem here, cut it off. Even if a project is a massive cash cow, they're shutting it down because they can't afford to piss off the government. Everyone wants to follow the USDC Circle playbook. Now, get listed on Wall Street, axe high-profit gray, area projects, and go overboard with information disclosure. The law hasn't even been fully implemented yet, and they're already falling over themselves to disclose everything. People like Justin Sunday, CZ, or even Wang Ji, who was planning to head to the International Space Station, all of them were ready to vanish into the shadows. They were being chased by both China and the US and just wanted to take their money and hide with their offshore passports. But suddenly they're all popping back up. Why? Because the US is currently in a mode where it wants to attract all the big whales and crypto talent from around the world. It's wild, all the big Chinese players are fleeing to America now. Why is the US so aggressively recruiting these crypto people, even if they used to be outlaws? I think there are three deep-seated reasons for this. First, Trump wants to make money. He gets it, and his sons definitely get it. This is fast money. As president, if he doesn't strike now and mow the lawn, harvest the crop, he is wasting the world's biggest sickle. He's not going to be polite about it. It is a massive financial opportunity for the Trump family itself. That's probably the most important reason. Second, to resolve the US national debt crisis. The US government is perpetually on the brink of bankruptcy because of that astronomical debt. Where is the new funding going to come from? This is why Musk and Trump have had their friction. But stablecoins are almost exclusively USD-backed, and under US law, issuers can essentially only buy us treasuries. We're looking at expectations in the trillions of dollars. This solves the liquidity problem. If they sell enough stablecoins, the debt crisis is mitigated, and the dollar is protected from becoming toilet paper. This is the move for the public good. Third, the classic American strategy of monopolizing talent and tech. Whether it is tech or finance, the US ensures that any new global power stays under its control. They want absolute dominance and the final say over the crypto market. Because of these three reasons, Euro, RMB, or gold-backed stablecoins are basically irrelevant. 99.99% of the market is USD stablecoins. Therefore, the logic is simple. Promoting stablecoins is promoting the US dollar. Anyone running a stablecoin business right now is effectively working for the US. Everything is pegged to us treasuries and American credit. If the world starts using stablecoins for global trade settlement, it's actually great news for the struggling dollar. Global trade has been trending toward de-dollarization, Bitcoin, blockchain, the RMB currency swaps, and the BRICS nations are all trying to replace the greenback. Instead of playing defense, the US is going on the offense. By pushing USD-regulated stablecoins, they are effectively re-dollarizing world trade. While the dollar currently accounts for maybe 50 to 60% of global trade, this move could push it toward 100%. This creates a massive demand for dollars. Look at USDT in just 5 years. Its holdings of US treasuries have surpassed those of the German government and the German central bank. It became the 7th largest buyer of US debt last year, outperforming most countries. It'll likely pass China and Japan soon. US official reports are actually being conservative by predicting the stablecoin market will grow 8-fold by 2028, reaching $2 trillion. That means over $1 trillion in demand for short-term treasuries. This massive explosion in demand for short-term debt takes the pressure off US finances. It gives the Fed room to lower interest rates, which fuels long-term prosperity in the US capital markets. This aligns perfectly with Trump's goals for his term through 2028. Now, look at China. China is barely worth mentioning here because they've chased away all the crypto whales. China is a blockchain desert now, but they see what the US is doing and are afraid of missing the bus. So they're half-heartedly testing an offshore RMB stablecoin in Hong Kong. Companies like Xiaomi, JD.com, Futu, and Ant Group are on the pilot list. But it's telling that Ant Group, which should be leading the charge, is at the bottom of the list. That's politics interfering with economics. Stablecoins aren't invincible, though. In China, we've seen countless exchanges and stablecoin projects collapse or get shut down by the cops. People ask if the Hong Kong dollar HKD stablecoin will break the RMB exchange rate. It won't. They are running two separate tracks: a HKD stablecoin, which is basically a USD proxy because of the peg, and an offshore RMB stablecoin. They're keeping them separate, which is a bit narrow-minded. They should just go all in on a proper RMB stablecoin if they have confidence in their own currency. The fact that they're hiding out in Hong Kong to do this shows a lack of vision from people like Pang Gongsheng. Jack Ma probably knows better, but he's not going to tell them the truth. They've screwed him over enough. Let's look at USDC. It almost died in March 2023 when Silicon Valley Bank SVB collapsed. Circle had $3.3 billion sitting there. When the news broke, USDC depegged to 87 cents and was heading towards zero. The US government stepped in to save the depositors, but Circle was terrified. They realized even banks aren't safe, so they pivoted to almost exclusively buying us treasuries and overnight repos. They won't even touch commercial bank deposits now. This made USDC incredibly transparent, the US government's favorite, but also very rigid. It's just a digital pool of dollars now. It lost the flexibility that USDT still has. USDC's Achilles heel is interest rates. If the Fed cuts rates, Circle's profit margins shrink, and their valuation gets hit. What about USDT's weakness? Its business model is perfect. They charge you to issue and charge you to redeem. It's a cash machine, $13 billion in profit. And what's their relationship with the US government? A small news item recently revealed that USDT buys more treasuries than almost any country. And how do they buy them? Through a brokerage owned by Howard Lutnick, the current US Secretary of Commerce and a close Trump ally. Lutnick's firm reportedly holds a 5% stake in Tether. If you calculate 5% of a $13 billion profit, that's about $600, $700 million in dividends a year. Is that pay to play or corruption? It's hard to prove because it's all done through third parties, but the connection is there. USDT has roots in the US now. It is not just a rogue operator anymore. People like CZ and the Tether team are playing the game with the US government. You just have to look at who the actual controllers are in the filings. Aside from playing ball with the US, Tether takes about $7 billion of its annual profit and reinvests it. They're buying Juventus, FC energy companies in South America, AI firms like Northern Data in Germany, and thousands of NVIDIA GPUs to build their own AI data centers. They even spent $200 million on a brain-computer interface company. USDT's risk lies in its aggressive investments. Then you have the purest geek projects like DAI. They don't trust any central government, but they can't seem to scale. Then there's USDV, the president's company, which is already at $2 billion. Even Visa, PayPal, MasterCard, Meta, Walmart, and Amazon are all positioning themselves in the stablecoin space. We're entering a warring states period in the US where everyone will be trying to swallow each other up. Coinbase and Circle are leading the pack because they are the most open and are playing the long game. At the end of the day, as one of you pointed out, China's capital controls and a successful RMB stablecoin cannot coexist. You have to choose between total control or the tech and global influence. The CCP will always choose control, so they'll just keep arresting people. Will USD stablecoins hedge against the dollar's devaluation against gold? Possibly, but the devaluation is so massive that both the stablecoin market and the gold market could grow simultaneously. Even a multi-trillion-dollar stablecoin market might not be enough to quench the US debt thirst. We aren't in the Clinton or Bush era of surpluses anymore. To get back to that, the US would need 3 times the current stablecoin projections. As for the risk of the US issuing debt, there is no way to stop it. No government in history has ever been able to stop itself from debasing its currency once it starts. From the Song dynasty to the Roman Empire, it's always the same story. The coins get thinner and thinner until they can float on water. If Trump gets his way and bypasses the Fed, he will flood the world with debt and stablecoins, and the whole world will be carrying the bag for the American lifestyle. The only real risk for a stablecoin is if the managers use the reserve pool for something else and it collapses. USDT has a triple defense: AI balancing, treasury bills, and massive external investments. It's completely centralized, a total betrayal of Satoshi's vision. But then again, so is USDC. They've all gone to the dark side because you can't play big if you don't bow to the US president. Should you invest? You can buy Circle stock, but remember the guys who bought at $250 are looking at $130 now. It's a high-stakes game. The geeks at DAI tried to stay pure, but eventually they realized that if you don't bow to the system, you stay small. Centralization is the trend. Would you like me to look into the specific financial disclosures of Circle or Tether to see how their treasury holdings have shifted recently? Stablecoins are a game for the big boys. Regular folks and small companies don't stand a chance. Just buy some stock. I started buying in at 280. Don't sweat it. It's tiny right now. Only a $60 billion market cap. But down the road, this market is going to be worth $10 trillion or $20 trillion. At 60 billion, we're still in the early innings. All right, that's it for today. It's 9 p.m. Time to wrap it up. Catch you later. Happy birthday to everyone, and hope you're enjoying the new chapter of your lives. Tomorrow, I'll read you some interesting letters, man. Don't ask me if you should hold Seco stock. Don't put me on the spot like that. If you hold it and lose money, you'll end up hating my guts. I'm just telling you to keep it on your radar, okay? Oh, and there's this young follower who actually put my climbing theory into practice. Holy shit, he went for it. Lost his virginity, went 3 rounds. He wrote me a letter saying he had sex with his girlfriend 3 times last month. He was thanking me, he said on the 3rd time he lasted half an hour, and gave his girlfriend climax after climax until she was begging him to stop. He said he's never felt more like a man. It's hilarious. I'll read the letter tomorrow. See, stability is the most important thing. It's going to replace SWIFT. Exactly. SWIFT, Visa, MasterCard, they're all going to feel the hit. This is a direct shot at the international banking alliances because it's replacing an old system with a new one. You can't stop it unless the US and China both ban it. But if either of those superpowers says, go ahead, then it's unstoppable. It's a tech iteration. Traditional banks just can't compete. Their costs are too high and their efficiency is too low. All right, goodbye. I don't even dare to dive too deep into this. If this really blows up and becomes the primary currency for trade settlement, the entire banking system as we know it will shift. Most of the things we're familiar with today will just vanish. Right now, you can find a bank on any street corner in any country, but in the future, they probably won't even have physical branches. All those banking professionals will be out of a job. What do we need you for? An electronic ledger is enough. A handful of stablecoin companies is all it takes. Every damn bank in the world is going to disappear. Of course, this might take 100 years. It won't happen overnight because humanity progresses in stages, but that's the direction we're headed. Why would I need a bank? All you do is keep records and hold deposits. Now, you've become a burden. With high-speed internet, blockchain, and AI maturing. What's the point of a bank? People's Bank of China, Construction Bank, ICBC, Standard Chartered, Bank of America. What's the difference? You're irrelevant in the face of this. Think about it. I hold stablecoins. I buy things with stablecoins. It works great. Eventually, there will be stablecoin banks offering interest and wealth management. So what do I need the old ones for? They're gone. All right. Bye-bye. Thanks for the donation, little bear. I'll give your charts a good look, but don't rush me. See ya, exactly. Plenty of industry giants can vanish in the blink of an eye. Don't think for a second. No way. They're too big to fail. Entire industries have been wiped out before. The smart ones move into the new industry as fast as possible while they still have a seat at the table in the old one. Take the whaling industry, for example. Just over 100 years ago, whaling was one of the most important industries on Earth. Every major power had a whaling fleet. Once you caught a whale, the oil was used for everything, from lubrication and lighting to industrial raw materials. It was a massive global business with huge companies and hundreds of ships. Do you see anyone hunting whales for oil today? Number why? Because petroleum came along. Once we learned to refine oil, it completely replaced whale oil. The smart whaling companies invested in oil early, and now look, renewables are coming out to replace oil. It's a constant cycle of replacement. It happens all the time. Banks aren't immune. 1,000 years ago, banks didn't exist like this, and 1,000 years from now, they'll be gone. Look at pager companies. Those used to be huge. 927, I am not coming home tonight. Now, there isn't a single one left. Texting killed them. Who calls a paging operator anymore? All right, I am done. Bye. Yeah, Kodak is a perfect example. Gone overnight. They were the #1 film company in the world. Kodak, Fuji. It's a shame. Digital came out. They didn't keep up, and that was it. There used to be a photo lab in every mall Kodak Express. You drop off your film, buy new rolls, and they print your photos. They were as common as McDonald's, and now there's not a single one left. Catch you later. Kodak, Fuji. There was a Chinese company called Era, too. They were pretty slick, sold out to Kodak, and Fuji took the money and ran. Bye, thanks. Snow. I don't know if I got your submission from early September. You have to tell me what name you used. I get so many letters, I have no idea. Kodak Photo Labs. Man, they were in every tiny village. They were absolute cash cows. Their photo paper was basically a license to print money. Everyone had to buy their paper and film. They were so addicted to that easy cash that they were afraid to upgrade, and it destroyed them. Same with ATM companies. They're basically all bust now because China doesn't use cash anymore. All right, for real this time. Bye. This show helps us see a little further ahead. We can see that stablecoins are already on the rise. 5 years ago, they were nothing, don't even bring them up. In 5 years, they've grown so much they've already surpassed the scale of Germany. And with Trump pushing it like this, he's got the motivation both personally and politically. Things get done when people have an incentive. He's got skin in the game, so he's going to push it for all it's worth. Just wait and see.